Kupuna National Resource Center for Native Hawaiian Elders, Decolonizing Research through Qualitative Methods and Community Partnership.
Ha, as many of you might know, in the Native Hawaiian language, is a strong expulsion of breath, to exhale, to breathe upon, otherwise known as like the breath of life. And then kupuna, many of you have also probably heard, is grandparent, ancestor, relative, or close friend of grandparents' generation. So putting those together, the naming of our center, it's the ritual in which kupuna choose to pass on specialized mana or their breath, their stories, their experiences to a specific person through breathing into them or onto them, which is the next generations, their grandchildren, or even us. And so that brings us to our mission here, which is to improve health and increase the life expectancy of kupuna so that they can pass on to their gifts and stories to the future generations. So that's a little bit about kupuna itself. So the goals of our qualitative protocol here are listed. There's 3. So the first one is to help researchers avoid extractive practices, so going into those communities, gathering their data, and then just leaving, not providing any benefits or asking about the community members' experiences or their perspectives on things, how research should be done. So just going in and leaving, we want to avoid that, as well as increasing their awareness of Hawaiian history and respectful research processes. Second, we want to engage Native Hawaiian communities within the research throughout the whole process and have their ideas, perspectives, their needs all included. And then lastly, we want to create safe and trusting research environments. The history of colonization and how it's affected research today, as well as poorly executed research that has caused harm in Hawaii as well as on the continent as well. And then the second part of it is kind of a step-by-step guide on how to successfully join with community partners and interview elders and incorporate them in your research. I'll quickly talk about historical context. So like I said, there's been many research harms done in the past, extractive practices where researchers have gone into communities, gathered their data, done surveys and whatnot, and then just left. They haven't provided any benefits to the community or even shared the findings with them that they were a part of. Current day, there are a growing number of Native Hawaiians in research today, and they're creating their own frameworks for programming, interventions, evaluations, developed through qualitative methods. And I will mention, this is the Pili Naha framework. It was developed by Kokua Kalihi Valley, or KKV for short, with the Kalihi community. So a lot of the researchers there, they went on the community, asked what's important to the community members when wanting to have better health outcomes. And these were the 4 things, the 4 values that were listed by the community that are required to be in any research study, any intervention, in order to have a healthy lifestyle. So connection to place, the kinship with Aina or land, connection to their community members, and then connection to the past and future, including their ancestors in the past and their future generations of grandchildren. And then lastly is the connection to themselves. So those are all identified as values that are necessary to have in research studies. As you've seen, research with Indigenous communities is evolving a lot, and it's very important for researchers to disclose their positionality, respect the frameworks created by Indigenous researchers, engage with partners and community-based organizations in research design and dissemination. So throughout the whole entire process, as well as negotiate data sovereignty and incentives. And then we also hope this qualitative guide serves as a purpose to other Indigenous and minority communities.